Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. Guys, before starting, I just released new car courses on my website, so if you're interested in getting quicker on specific cars, or if you are interested in learning more about racing technique, check out the links in the video description. Now going into the track guide itself, this is a fun lap. Now for the first braking zone, we really want to use all the track, all the way to the gravel like this. Positioning the car is gonna be like a key thing to do. In terms of turning, you want to turn past the pit exit line, and you want to clip this part of the curve right here. Whenever you see this kink in the white line, you want to cut it, and you will be adding a bit on the brakes. Take it progressively, because what you want to do basically is to use the brakes more to rotate the car, so you will be properly positioned for the next left-hander. Having the car on this part of the track, again using everything, notice that we're still on the brakes, which is key, and then we're gonna release more and more the brakes. You have to hold the brakes up until the car gets into the corner. The common mistake will be to drop the brakes too quickly. Notice how long we're still on the brakes. We started to brake for a long time and we're still trailing. You want to hit this yellow anti-curbs and cut all the way to the gravel on the left side. Immediately push the throttle. The more confident you push it, the more time you will gain around here. And for this corner, it's just a small lift, but do it aggressively. You want to shift the weight to the front tires as aggressively as you can, so you'll have more grip into the next corner. So do a sharp drop in throttle, then pick it up back again. And if you want to just stay in the track limits, having the right tires on the white line will be here the key, but make sure you're using this part of the track, because otherwise you'll lose a lot of time. You see, this personally set us to a perfect entry into the next one, because if you're more on the right side, you have to steer more. Because you're already on the left, we can get away with this, and we're mounting this curb right here. We're trying to just take the shortest path, and for this corner, the reference for us will be just after the cones on the right side. So around this point in time, we have this cones, these red ones. When they exit, when we don't see a cone anymore, that's where we'll start to apply the brakes. Make sure you're aligned with the white line. You want to brake quite, in a way you have to just take your time. You don't want to sharply go and smash the brake. Instead, you want to do it more softly. This will help with the tires as well. In fourth gear, you will cut around the blue and yellow curb. You're pushing the throttle very aggressively. Get very close to this green parts around here. Even take this curve in between your wheels, and now the car should push all the way to the outside right here. Now in terms of reference for braking for this corner, you can use the lights on the left side, this lights right here, this one. You will just want to brake at it or slightly after it, but if you take it as a reference, I think it's going to be mostly at it. You want to brake initially on the straight line. You don't want to brake very hard in this corner. Again, we're using the brakes more to make the car point rather to just slow the car unnecessarily. You want to hit the yellow anti-curbs, and the moment that you hit the curb, you should be already smashing the throttle. If you can get without corrections, like here we had a small correction, but if you go without corrections, then you will gain even more time, because right now it's a big straight. So the earlier you are in that corner on the gas and the more aggressive you are on the gas, the more time you will gain into this big straight around here. So if there's one thing you should focus your attention there, that will be arriving to 100% throttle in the quickest amount of time. Now, right now, going into the next corner, Let's get it a little bit back. The reference for braking here will be this yellow part of the wall on the left side. You really want to open up the corner, so notice that you can place the car in this position without getting the off track. You will look at this yellow part of the wall. You will be braking mostly at it. You want to brake in a straight line initially, so your focus should be whenever, because this is like a heavy braking zone, we're going quite hard on the brakes. Your focus should be to keep almost 0 degrees on the steering wheel. The more steering wheel you add, even if it's just like 3-4 degrees, you will have less budget for spending your grip for the braking itself. So the car will decelerate a bit less efficient. So now into this corner, keeping a straight line as much as we can. In terms of the apex, you want to hit the curb, but not exactly at the beginning. You want to hit it mostly towards the center, still holding the brakes, still braking, and then quickly change direction while you're still on the brakes. So the common mistake once again for beginners is to drop completely the brakes or to give it a blimp of throttle in between those two. This means you just slow down quite unnecessarily, so make sure you're not doing that mistake. And now still holding the brakes, making sure you're putting your wheels almost in between this curb, getting back on throttle. You can use all this part almost to the wall, just make sure you're not hitting the wall, and now bringing the car back on the left side. So once again, the more aggressive you are here on your exit, the more time you will gain. You have to prioritize this corner around this track, because obviously you can gain some time in some other corners, but the most amount of time will be gained if you're just a couple of milliseconds earlier on the throttle. That's gonna be the way to go. Now, positioning the car on the right side, you will be start braking before the 100. So as a reference, just look at the 100. Before the 100, you're gonna apply the brakes. Once again, the same discussion. You're at the top speed, you want to just brake in a straight line, brake heavy, 0 degrees of steering angle. You want to cut this curb. Once again, don't get in the absolute beginning, take it a bit later, a bit of a later apex, because you don't want to have the car on your exit close to the yellow and blue curbs. You don't want that. Instead, you want to be more on the left, still braking. So you see, it's very, very similar with the previous corner that we had. The trail braking takes a lot of time. Look here on the telemetry shape. This trail braking in lower 10 percentages, this is how you're gonna be quick around here. Because if you're braking hard, then releasing, giving it a blimp of throttle, then braking again, doing many corrections, you will lose time. Instead, it's one sweeping motion, going on the brakes and then releasing it, pushing the throttle aggressively. You should be aiming to be here close to the grass, then bring the car quickly all the way in this part. And now you just want to minimize the distance traveled, so take the shortest path into this big straight. You don't want to use your steering wheel more than you need, so minimizing your steering input is how you can gain those extra hundredths of a second. Now for this corner right here, past the 100, you just point the car towards the corner, so you don't want to go straight and then turn. You go more diagonally towards the corner, so slightly past the 100, you'll be applying the brakes. You're looking to apex around this part where there's this kink in the white line, where the white line starts to go from straight to the right side. Then you want to push the car here to this part, having the white line in between the middle of your car. Still on the brakes, still trailing, cutting this curb all the way to these green bumps, and then pushing the throttle aggressively once again. You know you did a good job when you cut a lot on entry, and on the exit you almost have space to place the car. Again, once again, it's a theme of this track. Obviously, the straights are so big, so you really have to just be aggressive on the throttle, but also make sure you have the right positioning, because you can't fully commit on the throttle if you do an early apex. So late apexes around here are key. Now we're going to turn 18, 19 and 20. First of all, positioning is going to be once again key. You have to use every inch of the track. You'll brake at the 100 meter board, brake in a straight line initially. You don't want to brake quite hard. You're using the brakes more to make the car rotate. In 5th gear, make sure you're cutting this curb, taking it in the middle of the car. Now still on the brakes once again, waiting for the car to settle, then applying a bit more of braking pressure. So this just reflects the mechanical grip. You can't brake that hard initially because you have to turn the car. So instead you will push the speed into the corner, and then when you have this window here where you can, it's like a breathing room, you'll apply more the brakes. Make sure you're using all the track. Make sure you're still trailing up until you hit the curb, and the moment that you hit the curb you should smash the throttle aggressively like this. Notice that all the time we're aggressive on the throttle on this track. Now for this corner right here, the reference for braking will be the 50, so slightly before the 50 we're going to apply the brakes. Make sure that you have this white line in the center of the track. You will be trailing more and more, and this is a low speed corner. This is where you should go to second gear. This is where you should use a lot of steering wheel angle, because right now you just want to make sure the car is pointing in the right direction. And once again, shortening the distance through the next corner. You just have to imagine what's the shortest path to the next corner. So don't blindly follow one lane, just pick the shortest path, align yourself properly, and right before this red part of the curb will end, like you can do it mostly on feel, like around this time you should be applying the brakes. This is a long sweeper, so quite a long trail braking, putting the throttle the moment that you push on this curb, and then reaching 100%. Once again, your aim should be here to have the car in the center of the track. You'll just do a lift and then quickly back up. So don't go all the way to the right side. It's not worth compromising that. It's a lot better to just do a lift, and you will treat this section with this lift. What I would suggest, in between the lift you can add a bit of brake, like even 1% brake. It will help you a lot to get the car a bit more stable. And this is just low braking like this. Just want to keep a tight line, and you want to be on the right side for the next corner, so you want to be aligned here with the white line. So you're using the brakes mostly to get this position out of the car. You don't want to be in the center of the track. For this corner, once again, it's just a lift. Fourth gear, you can even cut more than this. So if you add a tiny bit of brakes, the car will point more. We had a bit of understeer around here. And right now we're wrapping it up in the last part, going in 6th gear. Reference for braking here will be just this part where we have the pit entry. Just want to brake slightly before it. You want to brake in a straight line initially, then to trail brake more and more. In 3rd gear you will be aiming at this white part. You almost want to hit it. Nothing will happen if you hit it. Now, a pro tip around here is to think about fast hands, because you're going left-right. Think about fast hands and it will help you. Once again, cutting a lot. What I would recommend, hold trail braking a bit better than what we did here. Just hold 1, 2, 3, 5%. It will help pointing the car. Bringing the car all the way to the right side. You should be at the white line for this corner, and then once you get to this position, like your reference for braking will be the moment that you reach this position. Then I'm gonna apply the brakes in 2nd gear. Cut as much as you can here. I know it's bumpy. Cut as much as you can. The moment that you touch the curb, you should be back on throttle, and obviously you have to modulate a bit because it's bumpy. But in short, that's a lap around Le Mans with the Porsche Cup. So I hope you have a nice week ahead. Once again, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my website, check out my courses, and looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye bye.